June 6, 1944. Dawn breaks over the English Channel as thousands of Allied landing craft race toward the beaches of Normandy.
Machine guns rattle from the concrete bunkers. Artillery shells explode in the surf.
It's the largest seaborne invasion in history, and one of the boldest.
But let's change one thing. Hidden beneath a tarp on one of those landing craft sits something that shouldn't exist for another 40 years. An M1A2 Abrams main battle tank. A 70-ton monster from the future, dropped into the fight of its life. So what happens when the most advanced tank— This isn't your grandfather's Sherman tank. The M1A2 Abrams weighs 67 tons, twice as heavy as any World War II tank. It's powered by a 1,500 horsepower gas turbine engine that screams like a fighter jet.
This thing can plow through obstacles that would stop an entire armored division, all while driving fast enough to overtake a Prius on the highway. But impressive as that, this is a rolling overachiever. It's got a 120mm smoothbore cannon that fires rounds twice as powerful as—
Each shell can punch through concrete bunkers like they're made of cardboard and keep going like it didn't happen.
But the real game changer is its armor. Chobham composite armor layered with steel, ceramics, and depleted uranium.
But of course, we can keep going. It carries not just 40 of these monster 120mm rounds, but 3 machine guns. The front of this tank can shrug off hits that would vaporize Grandpa's pathetic Sherman.
We're talking protection equivalent to over 800mm of steel.
Spoiler alert! Out of 50,000 Nazis, approximately 0 are prepared to fight against 800mm of steel with 2 machine guns. Oh, and it has thermal imaging that can spot enemies in complete darkness, as well as a laser rangefinder and a ballistic computer that calculates shots automatically.
A rapid-fire 50 cal, and an orbital strike cannon strapped on top.
It can hit targets over 2 miles away while moving at full speed, and unlike the primitive weapons around it, it won't be missing.
Every time it fires, at least one Nazi will be erased.
Nests covering every inch of beach. Anti-tank guns, mortars, and artillery pieces zeroed in on the landing zones.
Hitler's Atlantic Wall was designed to be impregnable. Concrete bunkers bristling with 88mm cannons, machine guns.
In 1944, this thing is basically alien technology. But let's take a look at what it's up against.
The German defenders have Panzerfaust rocket launchers, Panzerschreck anti-tank rockets, and the dreaded 88mm flak guns.
The tank killers that terrorized Allied armor across Europe.
Against World War II tanks, they were death sentences. But here's the problem. The Abrams frontal armor is the equivalent to over 800mm of protection.
These weapons could penetrate 200mm of steel armor.
The beaches are also mined, covered with steel obstacles, and defended by battle-hardened troops who've spent years preparing for this exact moment. At Omaha Beach, the cliffs are packed with overlapping fields of fire.
Bullets ping off the Abrams armor like raindrops.
The tank's engine roars to life.
Designed to turn the surf red with blood. The landing craft's ramp drops.
The Abrams rolls forward into the surf. Machine gun fire bounces harmlessly off its hull.
A sound no one in 1944 has ever heard. It sounds like a demon from hell.
A Panzerfaust rocket streaks towards it and barely scratches the paint.
The German gunner stares in disbelief as this monster tank shrugs off his best shot.
The Abrams main gun swivels toward the nearest bunker and fires.
What would have taken a full naval bombardment to crack, the Abrams erased with one round, and was kind enough to...
The 120mm shell obliterates the concrete position in a single hit. 88mm shells slam into the Abrams front armor and bounce off. At worst, the gunner inside might feel like he's in a massage chair. And the tank? It doesn't even slow down. It climbs the beach like it's a gentle hill. Steel obstacles that would stop other tanks, the Abrams crushes them underfoot.
Panic spreads through the German lines. Their anti-tank guns open fire desperately.
Barbed wire. It plows through like it's not even there. The machine gun comes alive. The .50 caliber on top tears through German positions. Infantry dive for cover as tracers light up the dawn sky.
The coaxial machine gun picks off individual targets with surgical precision.
Allied infantry pour through the gap, no longer pinned down by murderous crossfire.
The bloodbath at Omaha Beach just became a walkover. But here's the catch.
Within minutes, the Abrams has punched a hole clean through the Atlantic Wall.
The Abrams is dominating its sector, but the battle for Normandy is happening on 5 different beaches simultaneously. It's still just one tank on a 50-mile front.
And it's running on borrowed time. It can't be everywhere at once. That gas turbine engine drinks fuel like a drunk sailor.
In intense combat, it's got maybe 6 to 8 hours before it needs refueling.
The problem? JP-8 jet fuel doesn't exist in 1944.
Neither do 120mm tank rounds or the specialized ammunition for its machine guns.
The Abrams brought enough firepower to change one battle, but it can't sustain a campaign.
Once those 40 main gun rounds are gone, it's reduced to machine gun fire.
There's another problem: mines. The beaches are seeded with anti-tank mines. When the fuel runs out, it becomes a very expensive pillbox.
Powerful enough to blow the tracks off even an Abrams.
The real impact isn't just tactical, it's psychological. A mobility kill would strand the tank in the sand, where German artillery could eventually wear it down. Allied troops see this invincible war machine carving through German defenses like a hot knife through butter. Morale skyrockets.
Suddenly, victory doesn't just seem possible, it seems inevitable.
On the German side, panic sets in. Radio chatter explodes with reports of an unstoppable super tank.
Officers who've spent years preparing for this invasion watch their carefully laid plans crumble in real time.
The 21st Panzer Division, Germany's armored counterattack force, gets the shock of their lives.
The Abrams can kill them from miles away, while their return fire bounces off harmlessly.
Their Panzer Vs and even the mighty Tiger tanks are suddenly obsolete.
With the Abrams spearheading the assault, the Allies establish their beachhead hours ahead of schedule. Key objectives that historically took days to capture fall in hours.
The link-up between Utah and Omaha beaches happens on D-Day itself, instead of days later.
The psychological boost spreads beyond the battlefield. When word gets back to England and America, the home front goes wild.
German commanders redirect artillery and reserves to deal with the supertank, weakening their response elsewhere.
The domino effect accelerates the entire Normandy campaign.
But here's the kicker. Even with all this success, the Abrams can't win World War II by itself.
It's a force multiplier, not a war winner.
Germany still has millions of troops, thousands of tanks, and fortified positions across Europe.
The war still has to be won the hard way, city by city, battle by battle. But the Abrams has bought the Allies something invaluable: time and momentum. Would the war end sooner? The Rhine might be crossed in 1944 instead of 1945.
The faster breakout from Normandy could lead to Paris falling weeks earlier.
But Germany's ultimate defeat was already inevitable by 1944.
What if the Germans captured the tank?
The Abrams just makes that inevitable victory faster and less costly. The Allies would have to destroy it, rather than let it fall into enemy hands.
Even a broken-down Abrams would be a treasure trove of future technology. But it could absolutely stop the slaughter on the beaches. In sum, the M1A2 Abrams at D-Day couldn't stop World War II, adding another layer of tension to the mission.
It would turn the bloodiest day of the invasion into a technological turkey shoot.
The Atlantic Wall, Hitler's impregnable fortress,
would crumble in hours instead of days. The tank would be remembered as the miracle of Normandy.
A glimpse of future warfare that changed the course of history.
The Abrams would be proof that sometimes the good guys really do have a secret weapon. For the soldiers who fought alongside it. But technology alone doesn't win wars.
Also, if you're interested in what would happen if a US destroyer fought at the Battle of Midway, make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching!